We throw around this term Christlikeness all the time, but what does it actually mean? For a lot of us, we picture this very personal, inward journey. But what if that's not the full picture? What if our entire understanding is missing a huge, crucial piece? What if it's, well, incomplete?
And that's really the big question for our explainer today. Is your spiritual formation kind of like an incomplete electrical circuit? A loop that has a gap in it, stopping the power from flowing where it's supposed to go?
Yeah, this powerful idea of an incomplete circuit comes from the theologian Tyrus Swoka. And his point is that when our spiritual growth avoids getting its hands dirty in the real world, it's not just a small problem, it's a theological one. It's a fundamental misunderstanding of who Jesus even is. So let's figure out how we can complete that circuit.
All right, first things first. We have got to bust a huge myth. This idea that becoming like Christ is basically a self-improvement project where we just need to try really, really hard to copy Jesus.
I mean, the contrast here is pretty stark, right? On one hand, you have this common idea that we just need to grit our teeth and copy Jesus through sheer effort. But the theological truth is so different. It says we are transformed by God, and it's based on His initiative. This isn't about us trying harder. It's about us letting God do a work in us.
And you know what? The Bible totally backs this up. Romans 8:29 says that God predestined believers to be conformed to the image of His Son. That word, predestined, is a big one. It basically means God set this purpose in motion from the very beginning. The language here is so key. It's God's action, His design, that's driving this whole transformation.
And this idea just keeps building in 2 Corinthians. Paul says we are being transformed. That's happening right now, in the present. And it's passive. It means it's an ongoing process that's being done to us by the Holy Spirit, not something we achieve on our own. It's a gradual change with ever-increasing glory.
So here's the crucial takeaway. The goal is so much bigger than just behaving a little better. It's about, as Ephesians 4 says, reaching the whole measure of the fullness of Christ. Wow. We're talking about participating in the actual life and character of Jesus Himself.
Theologian Martin Manser really hits the nail on the head here. He basically says that Christlikeness isn't something we achieve by trying to imitate Jesus. Instead, it's God making us more like His Son, through the Spirit. It's all about divine agency, not just human imitation.
Okay, on to our second big myth, the idea that we can grow to be like Jesus in just one area of our lives. Like if we just know all the right things or just do all the right things, then we're good to go. But that's a fragmented, incomplete faith.
And this is where a framework from Trevin Wax is super helpful. He argues that real Christlikeness has to be holistic. It has to integrate three key areas. You've got the head, that's orthodoxy or right belief. You've got the hands, that's orthopraxis, right practice. And then you have the heart, orthopathia, which is a fancy way of saying right feelings or right affections. It's what we think, what we do, and what we love. All three.
And here's why this is so critical. Wax says that if you neglect any one of these, your head, your heart, or your hands, the others start to suffer too. You can't just have right beliefs if you don't have loving actions. You can't just do good deeds if your heart isn't transformed by love. They are completely and totally connected.
You can see this holistic picture all over the Bible. Just take the fruit of the Spirit in Galatians. Notice it's the fruit of the Spirit, singular, not the fruits. It's one thing with many different facets: love, joy, peace, kindness. These things involve our emotions, our actions, and our relationships. They're all woven together.
And here's a really important piece of the puzzle. This kind of holistic transformation, well, it doesn't happen in a vacuum. It requires what Wax calls embodied witness within a community. In other words, we learn how to bring our head, heart, and hands together by watching and living alongside other people, not just by reading a book about it. So, we've busted two big myths. Now let's get to the core truth that really ties everything together. Christlikeness isn't just about God's power or being a whole person. At its heart, it's an incarnational project. It's all about following a God who actually entered our world.
So what does that even mean, incarnational? It means we follow the pattern of Jesus Himself. Philippians chapter 2 gives us the blueprint. He was in very nature God, but He didn't hold on to that. No, He made Himself nothing. He took the nature of a servant, and He became obedient, even to the point of death. His path was one of pouring Himself out for other people. And then Jesus turns around and calls His followers to do the exact same thing. This isn't just a friendly suggestion. It's the very definition of being a disciple. Deny yourself, Take up your cross, which, by the way, was a symbol of public, costly, painful engagement, and follow me. This is not a private, comfortable journey.
This means that the central virtue of being like Christ, love, can't just be some warm, fuzzy feeling we have on the inside. Jesus said the world will know we're his disciples by our love for one another. It has to be a visible, public sign that people can actually see and point to.
The Apostle John just lays it out there with total clarity. He says, "Let us not love with words or speech, but with actions and in truth." Don't just talk about it, do it. Real, authentic, Christ-like love demands concrete, tangible, visible action in the world.
Okay, let's bring all this home now. Let's go back to that opening metaphor. It's time to talk about completing the circuit. Think about it. Jesus' entire mission was incarnational. He didn't stay in the safety and comfort of heaven and just shout down instructions. No, he came down. He entered our world, took on flesh, and engaged with the messy, broken, beautiful reality of humanity. So, if we are being made into his image, our mission can't be a safe one either. Trying to be like Jesus while avoiding the world, avoiding risk and cost and messy engagement with people is a total contradiction. It's an incomplete circuit.
And that leaves us with one last, pretty challenging question. It's not just about what you believe in your head or what you feel in your heart. It's about how that divine, holistic transformation is flowing outward. So the real question is, how is your faith completing the circuit and actually lighting up the world around you?